Hey guys, Chibi here with a new video. And today is a very special video because today marks the introduction of a new series on my channel, which is called Dope Tech Thursdays. In Dope Tech Thursday videos, we're going to talk about tech and gadgets I use on a day-to-day basis, and I'll tell you what I like and what I dislike about them and give you my opinion on these gadgets. So to start off the series, we're going to talk about the 16-inch MacBook Pro after 8 months of use. I use this device almost daily for the past 8 months, and I think this gives me quite a good insight on the good and the bad stuff about this device. So, this video will be split up in 3 sections. Firstly, we'll talk about the device itself, the specs and everything around it. Then, I'll talk about how these specs and components have held up over these past 8 months. And thirdly, I'm going to talk about who should get this device, if anyone, and why should you get it, and the pros and cons of getting one. So let's stay tuned. There will be timestamps in the description, so you can skip around this video. Feel free to just watch what you want to watch. If you just want to hear my conclusion, then go ahead and skip to part 3. Otherwise, let's get right into it. So the device I have here is the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro. It features a 9th generation 8-core Intel i3 processor with 2.3 GHz. It also has 32 gigs of RAM, 2 TB of SSD storage, and as a graphics card, it has the AMD Radeon 5500M graphics cards, which gives you 8 gigs of graphic memory. So, what's special about the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro? It is that Apple introduced some new features there that they hadn't had in the lineup before. Firstly, it's the biggest screen you can get on an Apple laptop. 16-inch screen versus the 15.4 inch they had previously, which is a 0.6 inch increase in size and is really noticeable. It also has almost the same footprint as these 15-inch models, and this is because they managed to slim down the bezels. As you can see here, it features slimmer bezels than the previous MacBook Pro models. The screen doesn't quite reach 4K resolution. It has 3072 pixels times 1920 pixels, but that's okay with me. But what's special about the display is the variable refresh rate. It goes all the way from 47.95 Hz to 60 Hz, and this allows content creators to match the refresh rate of the display to their videos, to the frame rate of their videos, which is perfect for editing. Another notable feature of the 16-inch MacBook Pro is the huge battery. It's 100 watt-hours, and this is literally the biggest battery you're allowed to bring on an airplane. You should not, or you aren't allowed to bring bigger batteries than 100 watt-hours on an airplane. So that's a huge thumbs up for me. Battery life is improved by that. Furthermore, Apple introduced a 3-speaker system on the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So on each side of the MacBook Pro there are 3 speakers, and the sound is just incredible for a laptop. Also, what's very special about the 16-inch MacBook Pro is that it is the first Apple laptop which got rid of the butterfly switches. So Apple had reliability issues with these, and the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro introduced the new Magic Keyboard, which has scissor switches and 1mm of key travel, and that's also amazing. So, with this device out of the way, or with the new things of the device out of the way, let's get into how these components have held up after 8 months of use. Starting off with the display. I'm still blown away on how good the display is. I don't bother having a 4K resolution. However, it ties nicely into the bigger battery to have a sub 4K resolution display, because even though it's still very high resolution, the sub 4K gives it just a little bit more battery life. And if you add the 100 watt-hour battery into this equation, you get a battery life that is amazing. I've never run out of battery, and I never had to scramble for power outlets while on the move. While you're editing, it consumes a lot of battery and it runs out of battery quickly, but normally you're editing on your workplace where you have a power outlet near you. But just on the go, the 16-inch MacBook Pro never let me down, and I'm amazed I get about 8 hours of screen on time when doing office work or just writing scripts and stuff, so that's pretty amazing for such a huge screen laptop. Also, the keyboard is a delight to type on. It's just like Apple's Magic keyboard that come with the iMacs, and the 1mm key travel is very, very comfortable to type on. So I don't mind typing on this device for longer times, and I don't have any problems with the keyboard, so I didn't have any reliability issues, which is to be expected, not like with the butterfly switches. Also, when you get a Mac, you get a Mac also because the Mac OS. And it's just amazing how all these Apple devices fit into their ecosystem so perfectly. So I can just open my Mac and it unlocks with my Apple Watch, and afterwards I can just start working, and I also have all my apps I need in the Apple ecosystem, like Ulysses where I write my scripts and Final Cut Pro where I edit my videos. So macOS is a huge thumbs up for me. It is easy to install, it's easy to use, and I don't mind being a little bit less compatible than Windows. So that's something you have to decide for yourself, but for me macOS is just huge. It's a game winner, and even after 8 months I did not have any problems with macOS whatsoever. What also is amazing after 8 months is the speakers. I said they sound glorious, and they still do. I don't shy away of putting my Mac in the middle of the room and then just blasting music because they sound so good. I would even go as far and compare them to my Bluetooth speakers, which are the Ultimate Ears Boom 2. So I think for laptop speakers they're amazing, and also just for speakers they're very clear, they have good bass. I can just go listen to one in a store if you can, and then you will be blown away on how good they are. After 8 months, you also find some things that you don't like about a device, which is just naturally. But one of the things I have to say I don't quite like about the MacBook Pro 16-inch is the touch bar. It's not that I really hate the touch bar, it's just that I don't think it's a very useful feature. Because while typing you can click on it, you can get on it, and then you just randomly activate something you didn't want to activate. And for me, having physical function keys or a physical function row won't be that big of a deal. The touch bar is just a little gadget, and it can be useful at times, especially if you don't want to learn shortcuts in software programs. It's very useful there, but just on a day-to-day basis it's not very useful for me. Also, another issue that I experienced with the MacBook Pro, not really an issue but a concern I have, is that you have to switch all your peripherals to USB-C. Because the MacBook Pro has 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports and that's all you get. So you have to buy a dongle in order to read your SD cards, and that's just a huge hassle for me. I'd like to see Apple introduce maybe an SD card reader so you can just put your footage from the camera directly into the laptop, or maybe even include a dongle in their box, so that would be perfect in my opinion. I also have to say I'm not very impressed by the webcam. We all know these days we use webcams a lot more than we have used them before because of the whole pandemic, and the 16-inch MacBook Pro just has a 720p webcam, which isn't that good, especially for a company who produces one of the best smartphone cameras. Including just a 720p webcam in their highest-end laptop is just not that great, and I have to say I would like to see Apple make something better there. So these 8 months really have shown me what this device can do. Also, I never managed to push this device to its limits, because I have to say the 32 gigs of RAM are really sufficient for me. Even while editing, you have to take really a long time before you get close to a point where you see the Mac getting slower and having to slow down for render and having to wait on it, and that's really a huge plus point for me. So let's get into the third part of the video. Who's this Mac for? Who would I recommend it to? As you can see, the device is big. It has a big screen, and hence the footprint is also quite big. So if you're in the market for a new laptop, you really have to consider, what do I need? Do I need a huge screen size, and do I need a really powerful machine? And then this MacBook Pro is perfect for you, because it delivers all that. However, if you say I want to have a more portable device, or maybe I don't need that power, I would suggest that you will look around a little bit more. Maybe you'll find the MacBook Air fitting for you, or the 13-inch MacBook Pro. And what's also important to bear in mind is that Apple at the moment is transitioning, because they recently announced that they will get rid of Intel processors in their Mac and produce their own AMD based processors. So we don't know how this will go to play out, but we will for sure know that there are new MacBook Pros and generally Macs in the pipeline with other processors which can have several benefits like longer battery life and stuff. So this is also something to bear in mind if you're buying a laptop now. I'm sure it will have software support for years to come, but maybe you'll need something that the ARM Macs can provide you that this one can't. Maybe you say, oh no, the Intel Mac can provide me something that the others can't, for example native boot camp. So that's something you'll have to decide on when getting a Mac. However, I can recommend this machine to everyone who needs a big screen and needs a powerful laptop, because it's really well engineered. You won't have any problems with reliability or stuff. Even after 8 months, I've not noticed anything. And also the big screen for me is a game changer, because you don't need a second monitor in order to edit videos comfortably. You can all just do it there, and that's perfect for me. So if you can afford it and you need the bigger screen, go for it. I don't have any regrets getting this MacBook Pro, and I hope you won't either. That's it guys for this video. I hope you enjoyed my review of the 16-inch MacBook Pro after 8 months of using it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. And if you like this video, maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon in the next one. Stay safe out there and stay healthy during these times. Anyways, see you.